Hello and welcome to Teens and Money. We are talking about getting paid, first paychecks, and understanding what we need to know about all of that. So, thank you everyone for being here, talking about a very important topic, a very exciting topic, a possibly confusing topic as well. So, we're here to answer questions and learn a little bit more about our money. Especially at a young age, all very, very important here. So I am our financial wellness coordinator, Tony Byer. Hi. Also on this call, we have Holly Salimas helping us out as well. She is our youth strategies manager as well, or excuse me, our specialist when it comes to marketing here as well, helping us out. So she'll be helping us out, monitoring the chat, but we really appreciate everybody being here here at the end. So wanted to let you know that we've got the slides and everything through something called Slides with. So if you want to interact with the presentation, the code is there on the screen, so you can either do that via your cell phone, mobile device, even the computer that you are joining us on as well. You could certainly do that. So that's how you're able to interact. Let us know a little bit more about some of the topics, answer some of the questions that we have, and help us understand a little bit more of the questions and everything that you have. We can always do this in the chat as well when it comes to here on Microsoft Teams. But we really appreciate you being here today. So yeah, there's the QR code right there. There is the code. So it's slideswithfriends.com / and the way to get in the room, it's check, CHECK, because paycheck, or you could just scan the QR code there. We've got some people in right there, so you could pick your avatar. That's kind of fun here as well. But again, slideswith.com and then / check. And that's going to be up on the screen as we're going this entire time as well. But again, we really appreciate everybody being here. And if you're not able to get it, let us know, or you could put that information in the chat here as well. So again, appreciate everybody being here. But the first question that I have for each and every one of you after we talk about our learning goals. Sorry about that. Got all excited about the fairly new program that we have as far as Slides with. But what we're going to be talking about in our time together, it's the basics in getting a job. So if we have been applying or maybe not quite yet, just some things that we need to know. What's going to give you a leg up when it comes to securing work? We'd also a very confusing thing, I know, for me and many young individuals looking at their paycheck, saying like, oh, I get paid this much an hour, I work this many hours, my paycheck should be this much. And we get our paycheck and it is not that much. So we'll understand some of the differences between what we call gross pay and also net pay. We'll go through a pay stub, talk about the anatomy of that, understanding some of the different lines on there, because it can be confusing, that's for sure. We want to create a spending plan. We work hard for our money. We want it to work hard for us. What's gonna help us out? What do we want to accomplish? If there's any obligations that we have, we certainly want to make sure that those are taken care of. And then we also want to talk about just helping our money grow over time. But so glad that we're getting started with this now, because the sooner that we start when it comes to saving money, when it comes to having these goals, these plans, the more likely we are to accomplish those here. So we really appreciate everybody being here as well this evening. So this is the question that I wanted to get to. Are you working right now? So just kind of want to get a feel for the room, and you could put it in the chat if you're not able to get in on the slides with, or don't want to do that. That is absolutely fine. Don't have to put in an email address there as well. So I'm seeing a couple of yeses, a couple of nos. And again, with all of this, we're not sharing how much we make or anything like that, but just kind of want to get an idea of who's working right now, receiving a paycheck, and who's looking to do that here in the future. And if there's any adults that are working, yeah, go for it. Yeah, anybody and everybody. There we go. So mixed crowd, yeses and nos. That's great. So. I've been, working for quite some time. I think some of the first work that I did, I was probably 9, maybe 10 years old. Did some of the shoveling of neighbors' driveway. Also, I mowed neighbors' yard a little bit. Some weeds, but like the first actual job that I got a paycheck, very much into sports. So I did officiating when I was in middle school. So I officiated youth soccer. I also did youth hockey, flag football as well. I did baseball once. I'm never going to do that again. But that was kind of my introduction to work and actually getting something that was like a paycheck and not just my neighbor saying, here's a couple bucks. Thank you for shoveling the driveway. Yeah, looking right now, looks like we've got some yeses, some nos, 8 responses. Excellent with all of this. But the average, yes. So there we go. All right, so that's right now asking about our job, but I would love to know what would you like to do in the future? What are you thinking about as far as a future career or a job or something of that nature? So if you're on the slides with, you can just type in a short answer. Answer that way. You can also put it in the chat if you like here as well. So I'm seeing healthcare, physical therapist, excellent. All right, teacher, excellent. Helping others. So, dentists. A lot of people thinking about the medical field. It is the fastest growing field. I know here in our area, in the La Crosse area, with 2 hospitals, and I know many other areas as well with healthcare needs of many communities as well. But looking here in the chat, vet tech, taking care of animals, love it. Being a mechanic, awesome, very cool. Welding, very good. Taking care of people, doing things creative. So excellent. That is fantastic. Some of the things that we like to do in the future. It's never too late to start thinking about what you want to do in the future. It's never too early, to start thinking about that, or never too late to make changes either with all of this. But yeah, seeing a lot with the medical field, which is excellent. Very, very good. So these were the answers there, and then looking in the chat. So very cool what people want to do here in the future. So when it comes to getting a job, some things that we need to know, really how you present yourself, how you look, that really says a lot. And what we're trying to do when we're getting a job, because in many cases, and now it is competitive to get, really any type of work as well. So we want to really show that employer, that potential employer, we are that ideal person for that position. And one of the ways that we could do it, dressing professionally, dressing nicely, and if we look nice, we feel good. When we feel good, we do better with all of this. So we want to dress professionally, dress for the job that you would like to get. When it comes to, let's say we get an interview, you want to be there early. We don't want to show up, right on time. We don't want to be late. That's for sure. You show up late, the door closes in your face, and you don't get fruit cup. But you want to be a little bit early. If you're not entirely sure where the place, rehearse the route. How long does it take you? But get there early and know that once you pull into the parking lot, employers might be looking for you, or might see, how you are or how you act. I did work with a previous job of mine. There was someone that got hired, and he got out of his car, dressed all nicely, but he had animals at home. So he was there in the parking lot before his interview, with the cling, wrap, thing. I'm drawing a blank on the sticky thing that gets all the hair, but he was just going through that. lint collecting and things like that to get the cat hair and everything off him. He got the job, and then every year from there on out, that workplace, they always got him a few of those like lint brushes and things like that as well. So be prepared for that. Do your research on the company. Practice mock interviews. You're going to be nervous, regardless of any interview, but the more that you do it, the better you're going to be. With that, it can prepare you for some of the questions that you're going to get. It makes you feel more comfortable, and when you're more comfortable, you're able to really sell yourself as well. And it's really important, especially at a young age. When it comes to, who do you know, who do you work with? Volunteering is big, as far as getting to know people as well. And that's how you can find out about different jobs as well. So these are just some of the basics on what we can do to get a job. I was curious, and you could put, if you like, in the chat, is there anything that we shouldn't do, let's say in an interview or something like that, anything that we can think of? So we talked about some of the things that are good. What are the things that we might not want to do? So feel free to put those in the chat if you like, in the on the teams. Being casual, chewing gum. That is actually on the next slide that I was going to talk about. Yes, we want fresh breath. We want fresh breath. But yeah, if you're publicly speaking, yeah, chewing gum, not the way to go. With that, very good. So things to not do, like we mentioned in the chat, answer your phone, text during the interview. This is really, an interview is one of the few times where you get to brag about yourself, you get to talk all about yourself, and you have a captive audience in order to do that. So you don't want to, waste that time or anything and showing disrespect by, texting, being on your phone, doing things like that, during an interview while you're, meeting with a potential employer. You want to appear interested, good posture, sitting up straight, eye contact's important. You don't want to appear arrogant as well, that this job is below me and this place would be lucky to have me. No, not at all. Not at all. Being appreciative, being nice. People like nice people. We don't want to talk negatively about our current employer, previous employers, because they'll figure you're going to talk the same way about them in the future. And it just shows that may not be the great a great fit. Chew gum, like we mentioned. Serenity mentioned that in the chat as well. Also, great advice as far as looking them in the eye, trying not to fidget as well. Something that I do quite a bit and try to be very mindful not to, especially in situations like that. And then especially for an initial interview, don't ask about, well, how much do I get paid? How much vacation do I get? If you're working at a restaurant or something, you're just like, what kind of free food do I get? That just shows the employer, like, you're more in it for what can this job do for me? And that's not the attitude to have. It's really, what can you do for that employer as well? So those are just some of the things, what not to do. So just a really, really quick, things that we can think about when it comes to in the future, if we're not working now, or maybe we are looking for a job in the future here. So these are some things to think about, but we are here to talk about paychecks. That is right. And I didn't think that'd appear on the screen. Clever subtitle here. That's lacking right there. But that's a sample of what a paycheck could look like. So it's going to have all of your your hours, all the taxes, the withholdings, the deductions. We're going to go through all of that and the check that we get at the end. The fun part as well. So we're going to talk about the anatomy of a pay stub and helping us understand that. So pay stubs can look very different from company to company, processing platform to another. But what's going to be on your pay stub? We're going to go over that here. So this is Chuck Norris's pay stub here, working for JOB Enterprises. They're in Springfield, USA. There we go. So it's going to have the pay period. So every pay period is going to be different. A lot of places, they get paid every 2 weeks, but not everywhere is the same. Some employers, they might pay weekly. That would be great. Some might pay monthly. Some may only just pay twice a month. So maybe, on the 1st and the 15th, and that's it. So everything's a little bit different with this. But Chuck Norris's, this is going to be his last paycheck, and we're going to say of 2025. He makes $20 an hour. He works full time. So that's going to be 40 hours a week in most industries. Some might consider that a little bit less, but they might work longer shifts, especially in healthcare as well, where you might be on for 10, 12 hours at a time, or working overnights, or things like that as well. So he makes $20 an hour, 40 hours a week. That's $1,600. There we go. That math's pretty easy, but you'll notice that his paycheck, it is not 1,600, and we'll talk about why that is. So looking back at that paycheck, and we'll look at it again. Making $20 an hour, 40 hours a week. That's what we consider gross pay. That means nothing's been taken out of it whatsoever. So that's looking at your hourly wage and how many hours you worked. So that is the real simple math. But your paycheck, it is no simple, and it does need a lot more math on here. So what's going to be on your check? That's going to be what we call net pay, or we can also consider that take-home pay. So this is what we're actually going to be able to spend. This is what actually, hits our checking account, our transaction or spend account there. So we'll look at the difference between those here. So what is not grayed out on your screen? This is the gross pay. So again, nothing's been taken out of that whatsoever. So it is always going to be higher than your take-home pay or your net pay. The rest of the paycheck, that's going to be your net pay. So you'll notice that the gross pay was $1,600, but our paycheck is only a little more than $1,200, $1,220. We'll talk about why that is in just a moment. But this is a very scaled down, simplified paycheck on here. So not doing anything with insurance or retirement or things like that. So this might be more of a paycheck that we may have when we're younger and don't quite have those obligations or those different responsibilities or those programs available to us quite yet. Yes, we are going to talk about taxes. What is going to Uncle Sam and Aunt Samantha? So taxes are the price that we pay to live in a civilized society. Someone much more intelligent than myself said that quite some time ago. Our world would look very, very different, but not only what's going to Washington, D.C., but also what's staying, within the state, what's staying in with the county, the municipality. So all of that goes into it, but our tax money pays for many, many different things. Those are just some of the many things that we have there on the screen. So our parks, healthcare, our roads, bridges, defense, EMT, fire, law enforcement, government. There's a lot of different things that our tax money goes to pay for, and that's taken out of our paycheck before we even get our paycheck. So a breakdown there. And again, this can vary from state to state. This could vary as far as how much our income. I am not a tax expert, so I can answer the very, very basics of it. But yeah, talk to an accountant, tax advisor that specializes in some of those things here. But really, when it comes to our taxes, they go to three different areas. And we have that broken down by the pie chart there. So the biggest piece of that pie is going to be our income tax, our federal income tax. So that's what's going to Washington, D.C., and that can vary. In the United States, we have a progressive tax system. So there's different brackets of taxes. So, It starts off at 10%, and I believe that's just shy of $12,000. That first part of your paycheck, that's going to be taxed at a lower rate, and then what's made over that certain amount, that gets taxed more. And at the federal level, I could tell you as 2025, I know there are some changes in the past year with legislation, but it goes all the way up to 37%. And I believe that's income, that's money over, I think, $323,000 with it. So it's one additional dollar that's going to be taxed higher, what's lower with that. So it's not all taxed all at one rate with this. Same with Wisconsin's income tax. I know that's where we're broadcasting here from today. And I know that there are some states that don't have an income tax. We're in Clarksville, Tennessee, Tennessee's top spot. There we go. And they don't have a state income tax as well, but taxes may be collected in other ways as well. So what we said about Chuck Norris's, he's got a state tax in the ballpark of around 4.1%. And then there's FICA, the Fair Income Contribution Act, Federal Income Contribution Act. There it is. And so that goes for Social Security. So that takes care of those that are disabled, those that are older as well. And then some of those Medicare needs as well is also in there as well. So those are taken out of Chuck Norris's paycheck. And so what's remaining, that is the net pay. And that is what actually Chuck Norris could pay. And the real Chuck Norris, he's probably making a lot more than that. And I'm seeing a no state tax in Texas. Do any other rates stay the same? Every state's going to be different. Looking at the chat on that. So look at your Department of Revenue. That's always any state that's a fun site to look at there. So I can only really comment on Wisconsin. That's where I live and have the most experience with. We are a couple minutes away from Minnesota, so that's going to be different, but it really does vary from state to state. And more than likely, those getting their first job or those that are young, probably not earning all that much, so not all that much is taken out, for taxes. But we'll talk about tax withholdings here in just a moment. So to figure all that out, we have a couple different forms. The W's. W, stands for wages. So when you first get hired, you first get the job, you're going to fill out a W-4. So basically what that is going to do, that is going to tell your employer how much tax needs to be withheld from my paycheck each and every pay period with this. So the more exemptions that you have, the more money you're going to get from your paycheck. But when you go to file taxes, you may actually have to pay you may have to do that if you mark 0. That's going to withhold the most tax. So when it comes to when you do a tax return, and if you have overpaid on your taxes, you're going to receive that back from the federal and state government as well. So it can be a little bit of a confusing form, but basically what it is, it's saying how much tax should be withheld each and every pay. So you're basically prepaying for your taxes with that. And then each and every year, you're going to receive a W-2, typically early in the year. So in January, usually that's going to show all of your income that you've made from that employer, from your job in the previous year. And you'll need that to file your taxes, which is typically going to be on April 15th, in order to do that as well. So again, not a tax expert whatsoever. I did my own taxes, which should have been pretty simple once in college, and I had to pay in, and I made like no money with that. So I've never done my taxes ever. I've always gotten professionals or things like that. So I messed it up. So not the person to talk to you about taxes with this. So W-4, you fill that out when you first get hired, and you can also make changes to that as well. If you feel too much tax is being withheld, or maybe you would like more so you don't have to pay in, that's going to be your W-4. W-2, that's going to be a summary of your income and taxes, and everything from the previous year. So some things to avoid when it comes to your first paycheck. It can be exciting. It could be great. Um, Try not to spend the whole thing immediately. Easier said than done. Um, I totally did that. I was not much of a saver, especially as a kid. I did tell you that did a lot of officiating when when I was young. So a lot of my paycheck that just went back into like concessions and everything like that. So try not to do that. Spend the whole thing. And one thing we should do is put something away initially. Pay yourself first. You're going to hear that here again as we go through this. But again, pay yourself first. Don't spend the whole thing. It can be very, very tempting. Also, know that with your spending plan, there's going to be some, irregular costs or things that don't come up quite as often, or some of those variable expenses that we're going to have. The fees. If you want to get gifts, you got to give gifts as well. Things that could go wrong. Let's say with a car, you just never know with some of those things. So thinking about some of those, unexpected things, and again, save, 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 save. There could be subscription creep as well. So as we, earn more money, or thinking, you know, uh, it's some of those regular expenses, or there's a free trial for this. Put in my card information, and all of a sudden you get charged for it, or thinking like, oh, that's something that's $6 a month, but you look at that over the year, that's more than $70 for the entire year. So some of those little expenses, they can really add up, and add up pretty quickly with all this. So something to keep in mind with that. And then also, make sure you're looking at your paycheck as well. Make sure, the rate that they are calculating, that is accurate, the hours, things like that. So, make that a regular habit in checking your paycheck. So what to do with it? That is the next great big question, and I'm going to pose that back to each and every one in here. And where are you spending your money, or how have you spent your money recently? So young adults could be food, could be clothing, transportation needs, some of the entertainment stuff, all of that. But in general, how do you spend your money, or what have you purchased recently with your money? So that's money either from a job, from allowance, maybe we do chores, birthdays, holidays. So take a moment, if you're on the slides with, on your phone, share if you like. You don't have to be super descriptive, but, how are you spending your money now? I'd love to know a little bit more. So car, yes. Yeah, once we got the car, we got to keep spending on that. Gas, things for school, shopping, rides, sure, sure. Yeah, getting around, transportation, food, snacks, investments. I like that. Wow. Very cool. Our lunch, yeah. So food definitely is a big one. Coffee, yes. Yep. Keep that going. Got to have that. Oh yeah. Um, Here, so looking at some of the others on here, gifts. So we got some nice people in here. If you want to get gifts, you gotta give gifts as well. Just shopping in general, very good. So yeah, these were some of the responses that we had. So tithing, helping others, I love to see that. Gifts, rent, future rent. So planning on that. Absolutely. Very good. We got some nice people giving gifts. I love it. I love it. Very good. So one of the things that's really going to help us when it comes to our money, it's recognizing the difference between something that's a want and something that's a need. Something that's a need, we got to have it. It's got to be a part of our spending plan. We're not going too far without it. But what can happen is some of those wants can feel like needs. Yeah, and the needs, they're things we can live without. Might not be as fun, might not be, That's great, but these are things that we don't absolutely need. These are something that we desire, something that we want. And we want to recognize the difference between a want and a need because our needs can be unlimited. We can want everything. But our income, it is very limited. It is incredibly limited. So that's why understanding some of this, and there can be, some confusion, or there can be different values that we have. So I'm going to go through just a list here, and you tell me, and you could do this there, through the slides with. Tell me if you feel it's a want or a need. There are some of these we may not agree on, and that's okay. What's considered a need to one person may be considered a want to another. And I'm seeing here in the chat, is there a rule for spending on wants versus needs? Well, really, the most general rule is that needs come first. Those are the priority here. And then if and only if we have money left over, then we can think about some of those wants, some of those nice to haves. But again, we want to plan for it as well. And if that you have that as part of your plan, you don't have to feel guilty on spending on some of those wants because it was in your plan here. So we're going to go through some of these, and you tell me if this is a need or if this is a want. So select that on your screen on the slides with. So the first one, it's going to be just a home, an apartment, a townhome. Just some place where we can generally live. Okay, good. I'm seeing nothing but needs there. Absolutely do agree with that. So select if you think that is a want or a need. I'm seeing a lot of people, saying it is a need. I absolutely agree with it. Having shelter, really important for safety, security, just a place to keep our stuff. But Maslow thought it was a basic need. I agree with him. Pretty smart dude. Very good. And everybody's saying, for the most part, that is a need, and absolutely agree with that. Next one, what about television or let's say streaming services? Could be cable with that, but we could put that in the chat, or if you're on the slides with program, we could do that. So is that a need? Is that a want? So select A if it's a need, B if it is a want. And looking in the chat and what I'm seeing here saying it is a want, it is a want. It is a very, very wanty want. I will say, you can survive without television streaming services. I know that I grew up at a little bit of a different time, but a good friend of mine, they didn't have a TV in their house, and that was like by choice. And so whenever he came over to my house, guess what he wanted to do? He wanted to watch TV with that. But you can live, you can be okay without it. How about a cell phone or a mobile phone? This one we might be able to go. Some may feel it's a want, some may feel it's a need, and that is okay. So is a mobile phone a need or a want? Okay, I'm seeing a lot of needs for that one. Some saying a want. Yeah, so a little mixed with this one, and that's okay. That's okay. Like I said, we may not agree on all these, and that's fine. That's absolutely fine. Yeah, so 5 said it was a need. And 2 said that was a want. Yeah, that's absolutely. So it can be very useful if there is an emergency, if I know with a phone you can get so much different information to be able to communicate easily with others here as well. But if we're just using the phone just to do our scrolling and social media and things like that, we could consider that different. But absolutely. So that's one of those that definitely, for some it may be a need, some may be a want. What about brand new name brand shoes on here? So it's only limited to one picture. So as you can imagine, Louis Vuitton Nikes, those are not cheap by any means whatsoever. No way would I wear those anywhere. Yeah, that's just anyway. So seeing that's a want by many, absolutely. So shoes, yeah, that's something that we need. A lot of places aren't going to let you in if you're not wearing them, but they don't necessarily have to be the 100, 200, 300, 400. I don't even know how much those things cost whatsoever. But saying those are a want, but absolutely, I do agree with that as well. What about our video games? We're talking about, yeah, so computer games, if you do that too, there you go. Awesome. A lot of people saying that's a want. I agree with them. May not be as fun, but it is absolutely a want. We can live without it. But just thinking about, not only, many items, you have to think about all these costs that go along with it. You buy the video game system, you're not done spending money on it. There's additional games. Controllers aren't cheap. You've got to, have an online subscription if you want to play with others and download, extra content or things like that. So there's all these additional costs that go along with many items, video game systems especially. All right, so many saying that is a want. A couple of people saying that's a need. I get it. I get it. But really, if it comes down to I need food or I need video games, yeah, the food's gonna win out. What about just water? Just water. Getting that from the tap, the bubbler. Yeah. So I'm seeing need. Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Agree with that. So water, yes, needed for a basic quality of life. We're not going too long without that. Very good. So yeah, if you think that's a need, select that. If you think it's a want, yeah, saying that's a need, absolutely. What about bottled water? If we got a choice, yeah, but if we've got a choice with that, yeah, don't necessarily need the bottled water. With that, if it's your only source, yeah, I agree with that as well. Yeah, there's some times where, yeah, you're not able to get it any other way with that as well. But yeah, for the most part, many of us, community where we're able to, more likely drink the water. There's some areas where they're not able to drink, the water that's coming from the tap, or things like that as well. So yeah, but if it's your only source, then sure, need water. What about a car, a truck, an SUV of your own? Do we think that's a need or is that a want? So we can select that. A couple saying it's a need for transportation. The model, that's a good point. So we may need to get around, but it doesn't need to be the brand new 2026 top of the line. Yeah, so some are saying it's a need, some are saying it's a want. That's yep. And that's another one, kind of like the cell phone for some. So, with my position, I do a lot of traveling with my job. So, having reliable transportation really important for me to earn a paycheck and for me to do my job. So, I very much consider that a need. But for some, it might be I can get around with public transportation. I can walk a lot of different places. Um, I have a bicycle, and that's how I'm able to get around as well. So everybody's situation's a little bit different with that, and that's why we're doing that as well. So again, for some it might be a need, some it might be a want. What about fast food or going out to eat? I haven't eaten yet, so that burger that looks great. Doesn't look healthy, but looks great. So what about going out to eat fast food? But I'm hungry. Yeah, so many are saying that is a want. With that, for the most part, I agree. It's okay to go out every once in a while. It's okay to do that, but again, make sure it's a part of your spending plan, and that we are able to afford it as well. But yeah, fast food definitely not as cheap as it used to be either. No, nothing's as cheap as it used to be. That is for sure, with inflation and everything. But everybody's saying that's a want. I agree with them. Here, what about just food? Food. So we've got our kind of food pyramid, just fish and meat just hanging out with all the different grains and vegetables and things like that. But do we think that's a need or a want? Just regular food. This would be something we get at a grocery store, eating at home. All right. I think everybody's seeing just a lot of needs. I agree with that. Yep. Everybody's saying, gotta have food. This is the last one. This is the last one. What about putting money into savings and doing that right away, paying ourselves first? What do we think? Is that a need or is that a want? Yes, very good. Not always easy. Not always easy whatsoever. But it is really, really important. And we'll talk about why, especially while you're young, to be saving. Everybody's saying that's a one. Awesome, awesome. Needs. Love it, love it, love it. Um, I just like that. Savings, it is important. So, when it comes to our money, we want to set goals, especially SMART goals. So, SMART is an acronym. It is specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound or time sensitive with our goals. Really important to keep that in mind. So, a common goal that young adults might have. It's I want a car that is freedom, that is some independence, not having to rely on others, and save time and things like that. But it's something that's not cheap whatsoever. So our goal is I want a vehicle. So that original goal, I want to buy a car. Cool, but is that specific? Yeah, what kind of car? Do we want a little little bitty little car or some big truck with big mud tires or something in between? Who knows? Is it measurable? Well, I guess I'll know if I have the car, but not really. Is it attainable? I haven't really set a plan, but I guess. Is it relevant? Sure, it's something that's going to benefit my life, something I want. So that is it time based, time sensitive, time bound? No, no, not at all. So how can we make this a SMART goal? Well, we could say that our goal is we would like to buy a 2012 Chevy Impala. It's white, it's beautiful, and we're going to save $100 each and every paycheck. That's going to go toward this vehicle. We're going to pick up an extra shift. We're going to limit our outside spending and not going out to eat. Once every 2 weeks, that's it. Once we've saved $2,500, about half the cost. We'll have enough to put a down payment, have it in our driveway by August 24, 2026. You could even put a time on there as well. But that time bound, time sensitive, that's what gets us going. Because if we just say, oh, someday I'm going to do it. Well, there's no day of the week someday. That someday could be a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, never with this. So this is going to be more of a SMART goal. It's specific. We know the car, even the color, all of that. The vehicle, the VIN number maybe. Is it measurable? Yeah, we know. Are we getting closer to that goal? Are we getting further away? Is it attainable with this plan? It seems very reasonable. Is it relevant? Yeah, that's something that I really want. It's going to benefit my life, and we've got a deadline on it. So that's an example of a SMART goal. So that's something we want to keep in mind when it comes to goals that we may have in the future or how we'd like to spend our money. So how to get saving, get early and often. Even just a piggy bank change jar, some sort of like little coin safe or something like that. Or we can have our money grow, let's say in a savings account at a financial institution where your money, it's going to grow via interest or dividends, we would call it as a credit union because you're an owner. And also, your money's protected. It's safe as well. Up to $250,000. It is insured. I've mentioned pay yourself first a few times. Absolutely true. So just like any other bill, right when we get paid, put some of that into savings. At least a dime out of every dollar, at least 10% is a good, very general rule. If you could do more than that, especially while you're young, certainly do that. And start simple with all of this. Money is complicated enough, so anything you can do to make it more simple, certainly do that. And that's what I talk about a lot in the education that I do. Try to, make things simple and concepts. It is no way, shape, or form easy, all of this stuff. So glad that you're here with us this evening, learning a little bit more about how we can really maximize our money and talk about, getting that paycheck and understanding it as well and making it work for us because we work hard for our money. So why we should save now? There are three factors that grow our savings. So the amount of money that we have saved, that makes sense. The more money that we have, let's say in a savings account that can earn dividends, so that money is actually earning additional money while it's sitting there. And all you have to do with that extra money is just let it sit there. And it's going to continue to grow. Take advantage of compound interest. So your money's actually making money off the previous interest. Yeah, it's not only money you put in there, but also looking at what's grown, and it just continues to snowball in a great way. The interest rate. So the higher the interest rate, the money that you're earning, the more that we're going to have in the future. And the biggest reason, and so glad we're learning about this now, especially many of you being young, time. Time is on your side. So the longer money sits in an account that earns interest, that earns that extra money, the more we're going to have in the future. So save, 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 save. Pay yourself first. I know it's not always easy, but your future self will really, really thank you. So when it comes to our saving, take a look at your expenses. How have we spent our money previously? So if we're using something like a debit card, something that's connected, let's say, to a checking account, we can take a look at, past statements and how we've spent money before, but have a good idea of where our money's going and our expenses. Just saw something in the chat from Isaiah. So pretty much, I don't know of a savings account that does not earn interest. So some may earn more than others on there, but I don't know if, like I said, I don't know of any, I haven't seen any savings accounts that don't earn interest or don't earn that extra money. Some, it might not be all that much, but still a little bit is better than nothing. So save, 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 save. Excellent question with that. Now, when it comes to those expenses, so, rank those expenses, of importance, what takes priority, those needs come first. When we get paid, work your way down the list. And then at the end of each month, work your way down the list as well. With this, reorder, rinse, repeat, make any changes that we need. And if those goals and everything are still in line of what we'd like to accomplish with our paycheck, with our money, all of that is really, really important. All right, so big takeaways from this today. Really appreciate everybody's attention with this. So, with your paycheck, check your rate, make sure that is correct. That you're each and every hour, that is what you're earning, and then also checking your hours as well. So making sure nothing's missed or we forgot to punch in one day or something or one of those things. So make sure all of that is correct. Also, find your, what's your gross pay, and then understand the net. That's going to be your take home pay. That's going to be less than your gross pay. And then also your taxes as well. And then there might be deductions as well. So they're a little bit different than taxes. And again, the taxes, that's going to a lot of services that are used here, and your employers collecting them. They're not stealing them. They're going to Uncle Sam, Aunt Samantha. And there might also be deductions. So those are going to be costs or contributions. So there could be, maybe you have to have a uniform for your job. A lot of places, especially entry level, there might be a certain way you have to dress or certain uniform. So your uniform that might be taken out of your first few paychecks, perhaps to pay for that. It could be if you're I don't know if there's a union job, you might have union dues or fees or something like that. And then as we get older, there's going to be additional deductions for, some of your insurance needs, if there's any investments, retirement, and things like that as well. So there's going to be additional things that are going to be taken from our paycheck in addition to taxes, especially as we get older and have more of that in the future. But I really recommend a simple plan with our money. Pen and paper works great. It'll continue to work great. If we're doing something complicated and we've got macros and pivot tables and all these different spreadsheet things, and that's not our jam, we're probably not going to stick with it, and that whole time was wasted. So start simple. Start with something that's going to work for you, and work from there. And then, ask questions if something it looks off with your paycheck, or just, help understand as well. Because we looked at a very, very, very general paycheck with that, but it can look very different as well with all this. All right, so taking a look at the chat, any tools? Great information that Holly shared there in the chat. So our digital banking app has a lot of different resources. You can look on our website as well, altra.org. Has a lot of different resources as far as budgeting tools, or understanding savings, or understanding some of these different concepts. Here as well. So Bonsai is a great resource, and there's different levels of that, and that can be found on our website, altra.org, with just some mini articles and things like that. And then Zogo is another great partner of ours, and that is actually a free app that you download on your phone or mobile device, and you actually can earn gift cards for learning. There's mini sessions. You answer questions. Holly just put the link in the chat. Awesome. There. So that's another great way to learn more about these important financial topics. And then also that can help your paycheck for stuff you don't have to pay for because you're getting a gift card. There you go. If you have any questions with this, we're more than happy to answer those. But we really appreciate everybody being here this evening, learning more about a very important topic, and that is our money, how we can maximize that, especially at a young age as well, and develop some of those great money habits here. So we appreciate everybody being here today, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.